Here's a simple but brutal truth. Two people do the same thing. One gets rich, one stays the same. Same 24 hours. Same effort, sweat, and effort. But the results are worlds apart. Why? Does life favor a special group of people? Or is there something deeper at work? The difference is not in the brain. It's not in the starting point. It's in the core mindset, the thing that operates silently but determines everything you touch. Successful people don't ask, "How do I survive?" They ask, "How do I dominate my own life?" They don't need luck. They have a strategy, starting from within. And today you won't just hear about it. You will experience how that mindset is built layer upon layer like a blueprint to inevitable wealth. This is not a motivational video. This is a wake-up call. If you are willing to face the truth and leverage it, the journey begins here. Every day when you wake up, a silent war begins. Not on the battlefield, not in words, but in your mind. On one side is reality, where everything seems okay, enough to live, enough to be safe. On the other side is potential, where the life you secretly dream of is waiting to be awakened. And in the middle of those two battle lines is you. Most people choose to stand on the side of reality because it is familiar. It is not scary. It does not force you to change. But that is also what makes them live their whole lives in a boring loop. They are not poor, but they are not free. They are not miserable, but they are not burning. Reality is where dreams are left to die. On the other hand, potential is not gentle. It is a land of risk where you are not guaranteed anything except growth. Potential requires you to leave your comfort zone, let go of your old self, accept failure, stand up, and keep fighting. And here's the most important thing. Potential doesn't just happen, it has to be conquered. Just like gold doesn't lie on the ground. You have to dig deep. It hurts, and sometimes it gets disorienting. But if you persist, if you don't back down from the pain, if you believe you deserve better, then every day you begin to transform. Every choice you make, learning a new skill, changing your lifestyle, saying no to mediocrity, is a pickaxe into the wall that separates you from your greatest self. Don't confuse stability with satisfaction. You may be living okay, but are you living right? Ask yourself, if I were to live the way I am now for another 5 years, is that the life I want to sign up for? If the answer is no, then this is your calling. A new life does not begin with luck. It begins with choice. The definitive choice that says, I refuse to settle for just living. I choose to live up to my potential. And when you do choose, the battle begins, and the reward is an upgrade of who you are. Every great change in life begins with a thirst. Not a thirst for water, a thirst for living differently. A thirst to step out of your shadow. A thirst to touch a bigger, more fiery, more free version. But not everyone is thirsty enough. Most people want a better life, but a few are obsessed with it. And only the obsessed ones can truly turn their dreams into assets. Desire is not wanting to have. It is the feeling that makes you unable to sleep well until you take action. It is the thing that makes you wake up and think, today I must take another step forward. It is not a feeling, it is fire. And the strange thing is, the world does not react to people who just want. The world only reacts to people who cannot do without. Look at all the successful people you know. From entrepreneurs to artists, from world changers to personal changers, they have something in common. They don't just want it, they want it. Some people study all night. Some people work for 6 months without pay just to learn. Some people leave their comfort zone and bet on themselves. That's how true desire works. It makes you refuse normalcy. It makes you feel the pain of procrastination. It turns working hard into a life instinct. Desire big enough to crush all excuses for procrastination. No money? They learn to make do. Not good? They learn until they are good. No support? They go it alone until they don't have to explain anymore. And then, the magic happens. Opportunities start to appear. Doors start to open. The right people start to come. It's not that they're lucky. It's that their desire is so clear, so strong, it can't be ignored. The universe doesn't respond to ambiguity. It responds to absolute determination. If you're feeling stagnant, lost, doubting yourself, it's probably not because you're incapable. It's because you don't want it so badly that you can't help but act. Sit down, write it down. Write it down as if you're reclaiming a part of your life. Because when you're so hungry that you can't settle for just living, life will begin to give way. You can have big dreams, you can have detailed plans. But without faith, everything will collapse when the wind changes direction. Faith is not an illusion. It is the fuel of survival. It is the energy that keeps you standing when the whole world turns its back on you. Many people think, when I see results, I will believe. But the truth is, you have to believe first, then the results will appear. People who build extraordinary lives do not do it because they are certain of success. It is because they believe in themselves when no one else does. They do not wait for approval. They do not need approval. They make decisions based on a single truth. I am worthy. I will do it. I will not stop. And when you believe deeply enough, firmly enough, strongly enough, you act differently. You talk differently. You walk with a confidence that others cannot help but notice. Confidence changes your aura. And that aura is the frequency that attracts opportunities, people, assets, and success. But make no mistake, confidence is not always easy to have. There will be days when you doubt. There will be times when you want to give up. And in those moments, you need one thing. Remember why you started? You have come too far to just turn back. You have endured too much to stop halfway. Tell yourself every morning, I don't believe because things are easy. I believe because I chose this path, and I will make it happen no matter what. Because if you don't believe you will succeed, no one else will do it for you. The world reflects back exactly what you emit. If you radiate certainty, it will return opportunity. If you radiate doubt, it will return obstacles. So, practice faith as a daily habit. Reread your goals. Write down your manifesto. Say out loud, I was born to do this. I will not fail. Because when faith becomes rooted in you, no storm is big enough to knock you down. You can't attract something if you're not clear about it. You can't build wealth if you don't know what you want when you wake up in the morning. A lot of people work hard. A lot of people make an effort. But only a few actually become rich. Why? Because they are clearer than the rest. They don't say, I want to be successful. They say, I want to achieve X goal by Y date for Z reason. And when you are clear, your entire mind, your actions, your decisions, your words begin to communicate with the universe as a command. Money, opportunities, people, relationships, they all gravitate toward you because you radiate an unmistakable frequency. Clarity is your compass. Clarity is your beacon in the dark. Without it, you can easily get caught up in everything, but not build anything. The more vague you are, the more scattered you are. The more scattered you are, the more you lose energy. And as a result, you run around all year but get nowhere. Clarity makes it easier to say no. You don't get pulled into projects that look good if they don't serve your core purpose. Clarity saves you time. No overthinking, no hesitation. You know what you want, and each day is a deliberate step. Want to make more money? Write down the number you want. Want to change your life? Write down the specific changes you want to see. Ask yourself today, what am I aiming for? How much money do I want? Why is it so important? The answer must not be vague. It must be crystal clear. It must be razor sharp. And every day you repeat it. You see it. You act on it. Because the universe doesn't respond to ambiguity. Money doesn't come to people who don't know what they're doing. Clarity is the most powerful magnet to attract wealth to you. You have clarity about your goals. You have a plan, a desire, a belief. But you haven't taken the leap? The reason may lie here. You still have a safety net, a plan B. And if not, then forget it. A life preserver called, while there's life, there's hope. But if there's no hope, there's no need to hope. And that's what kills commitment. Learn from the great warriors. When they reached a new land, they burned their own boats. There was no turning back. It was either forward or destroyed. That's not insanity. It was a clear statement of choice. When you have no options left, your mind starts to operate on a different level. More creative, more daring, more focused. Because when survival is on the table, you have no choice but to win. On the other hand, losers always keep an escape route, a stable job to fall back on if the startup fails, a not yet reason not to start, an excuse. I tried, but no success exists if you keep the try mentality. You have to commit, all in, no way back. Ask yourself, what in your life is acting as a boat? What is making you hesitate, waver, or lackadaisical? It could be an old habit, a toxic relationship, an identity you're afraid to let go of. But if you're serious about the life you say you want, it's time to burn it, because you can't fly while you're still tethered to the ground by your backup plan. Tell yourself every day, there is no way back. There is no plan B. This is the only way. And from the moment you make that choice, life begins to change. New doors open, not because you're lucky, but because the universe favors those who have nothing to lose. But success, there are days when you are tired. There are times when you doubt yourself. There are mornings when you ask yourself, am I on the right track? And if you rely on your emotions to keep going, you will give up. But if you have a big enough reason, you will get up, even if your knees are full of skin. People who succeed are not stronger. They just have something you haven't built deep enough. A mission, a reason that they are not allowed to fall. It could be their family. It could be a promise to someone important. It could be a past they want to overcome. It could be a version of themselves that they have to become no matter what. And when you live for something bigger than yourself, you become unbreakable. Ask yourself right now, what got me started? Who am I doing this for? Who will be affected if I give up? You may think, I'm just trying to take care of myself. But the truth is, your life is a link for many others. When you are strong, you inspire others to stand up. When you win, you pave the way for those behind you. And when you refuse to give up, you are telling the world, I am not here just for myself. I am here for my legacy. No one remembers the person who started. People only remember the person who finished. So if today you feel like giving up, don't ask, how much longer can I last? Ask, is my why strong enough to hold me back? If the answer is yes, take a deep breath, wipe the sweat, and keep going. Because you are not here to survive. You are here to make a mark. The outside world is just a mirror. It reflects what is going on inside you. If you find yourself always short of money, short of opportunities, short of time, maybe the problem is not the circumstances. It is your subconscious mind that is operating with an old program. You want to be rich, but deep down you believe money is the root of all evil. People like me will never be rich. I am not good enough. It is not my time yet. And what happens? Every action, every choice, every financial decision is governed by a poor operating system. That is why you have to reprogram. You have to start from the root. You have to do it from the inside out. Napoleon Hill called it autosuggestion. It is when you deliberately plant new, positive, powerful ideas in your mind. Repeat them enough, deep enough, until they become your default system. Think about it. If every morning you wake up, you listen to your goals. If you look in the mirror and say out loud, I deserve to be rich. I attract opportunity. I am a great value creator. And you repeat that hundreds, thousands of times, your subconscious will begin to believe. And when it believes, it will act on that belief. It will make you dare to ask, dare to take risks, dare to step into spaces that you were afraid of before. This is not false positivity. This is mind training at the deepest level. Because in the end, you are not acting on your mind. You are acting on your unconscious beliefs. If you want a different result, start by planting a different belief. Reprogramming doesn't happen overnight. But if you are serious, consistent, the whole world outside you will change. little by little. Because the rich mindset doesn't start with the wallet. It starts with the subconscious. Reprogramming your mind is a long game, and in any long journey, there will always be a time when you want to stop. That is when you fail. That is when the results come later than expected. That is when others doubt, and you yourself begin to doubt yourself. But here is the truth that does not change. It is not the best person who wins. It is the one who does not stop. You may not be the smartest. You may not be the one who starts first. But if you are the only one standing until the end, you will win. Success is the reward for persistence. What you did not achieve today does not mean you will not achieve tomorrow, as long as you do not give up. Think back to the people you admire. Speakers, entrepreneurs, founders, artists, athletes. They all have one thing in common. They didn't give up when everyone else did. You may be at your lowest point. You may think it's all for naught. But the truth is, you're so close. Closer than you think. Don't ruin 3 years of perseverance for 1 day of doubt. Every time you cross a quit threshold, you don't just take a step forward. You redefine who you are. Make your persistence your identity. Let others say of you, that person never gives up. That person is unstoppable. And if today is a tough day, if you only have 1% of your energy left, use that 1% to keep going. Because you don't have to run fast. You just have to not stop. Success doesn't require perfection. It just requires you to show up until the end. Persistence is not a skill. Persistence is a choice, and you get to choose it every day. Money is more than just a number. It is a true reflection of your inner feelings. Emotions drive how you spend, how you save, how you invest or avoid it. And if you don't master your emotions, you will never master your money. How many people spend to feel better? How many people put off investing because they are afraid of risk, without even knowing what that risk is? It's not a matter of knowledge. It's a matter of financial, emotional intelligence. To be rich, you must learn to talk to your own emotions every time you are faced with money. When you see a new investment, what is your first emotion? Fear? Anxiety? Unusual excitement? All are dangerous if you are not aware of them. Successful people do not make financial decisions based on emotions. They make decisions based on data and inner stability. They know when they are acting for value, and when they are acting to avoid feeling deprived. Financial emotional intelligence is not about how much money you make, it's about how you react to money in any given situation. When you lose money, how do you react? When you see others succeeding, what do you see? When you have a big opportunity but need to take a risk, do you tend to shrink or move forward? Look at the answer, because that is your financial emotional map. And if you don't remap it, money will always be out of reach. You will always be passive. You will constantly make or break your own finances. So, before you learn about money, learn about yourself when it comes to money. You don't get rich by doing more. You get rich by reacting differently. And as your emotions mature, money begins to stay. There is no shortage of smart people in this world. There is no shortage of people who study a lot, understand a lot, and know everything. But that doesn't make them rich. Because wealth doesn't come from knowing more. It comes from taking action based on what you know. Some people read 100 financial books, but can't invest once. Some people take 10 business courses, but can't even open a single product. And successful people, they learn and then do it. They don't wait until everything is perfect. They don't wait until they are confident enough. They understand that execution creates progress. Action creates results. Knowledge is just a seed, but if you don't sow, water, or tend it, it will rot in your own head. You can know a lot, but if you don't convert that knowledge into a specific product, a specific action, a specific habit, it's still just information, not an asset. The rich are not smarter than you. They just act faster. They don't sit down and draw up a 3-year plan and forget it in their laptop. They pick one thing to do today, and they do it, no excuses. You don't need to know more. You need to turn what you know into action. Ask yourself, how much of what I know have I applied? What value have I created from what I've learned? And if the answer makes you feel discouraged, it's time to change. From now on, every time you take in new information, ask yourself, what's the smallest thing I can do to turn it into action? It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be big. Just start and keep going. Because in the end, intelligence doesn't create wealth, action does. Not done, not counted. Knowing is not enough. Believing is not enough. Wanting is not enough. Only drastic action defines who you are. Some people dream for 5 years, but never start. On the other hand, some people act frantically but never get anywhere because they are just doing it. Decisive action is not about doing a lot. It is about doing the right thing, doing it decisively, and doing it to the end. Every decision you make today, every action you choose or ignore, is silently redefining who you are. Are you someone who dares to live true to your desires? Or someone who lives to avoid pain? Are you someone who is willing to step into the risky zone? Or someone who waits for the perfect moment? And remember, no action is neutral. You are either moving forward or you are delaying your greatness. If you are serious about your future, you need to get out of the warm water today, where things are comfortable but not changing. You need to wake up earlier, communicate more clearly, close more quickly, try harder. Decisive action doesn't come from confidence. It comes from a deep commitment to who you want to be. And the more you act, the more you believe you deserve it. The more you commit, the more you see small results appear. There are no magic bullets, just a series of behaviors repeated with intense focus. Make each day a step forward. Keep a record of what you did, not what you intended. Because in the end, you are not remembered for your ideas, but for your actions. No one changed their lives by thinking. They move constantly, regardless of emotion. And it is from that movement that your new self is formed.